You know, it's easy to get caught up in the visible problems, right? Like a physical injury maybe, or I don't know, money troubles.
The tangible stuff we can point to.
Exactly. But this source we're diving into today talks about something else. These calamities of obsession, as they call them, that can really throw the mind off balance.
Yeah, and it positions them right alongside physical ailments, suggesting they're just as real, just as impactful. It's a reminder that this kind of inner turmoil, well, it affects everyone.
And what's really interesting is this idea that our mental state, our spiritual state, they're deeply connected to just our overall well-being.
Absolutely. And this book we're looking at, Disobsession, it comes from the spirit André Luiz, or the psychographer Xavier.
Yeah.
It gives this incredibly detailed, almost structured way of thinking about these inner imbalances.
It's basically a guide, right, for helping people who are experiencing what the book calls obsession.
Exactly. And we should probably clarify that term up front.
Yeah, good point, because obsession might make you think of like horror movies or something.
Right. But the source is clear. It's not about, demonic possession in that sort of traditional, sensational way.
It's more about the influence of, well, spirits who are disincarnate, who haven't physically moved on, and who are struggling themselves.
Described as souls of perverse men who have not yet shed their material instincts, so they're grappling with their own issues.
So for you listening, this isn't about ghosts in the scary sense. It's more like a different framework for understanding distress.
A framework that really emphasizes creating supportive environments, both mentally and spiritually.
And those ideas, fostering well-being, creating positive spaces, they feel like they have much broader applications, don't you think? Beyond just this specific context.
Oh, definitely. And what's really fascinating about this book is how practical it is. It's almost like a step-by-step manual for the groups doing this disobsession work.
So our mission today for this deep dive is to pull out the most insightful bits, the most thought-provoking ideas from this source about these principles, these practices.
Yeah, hopefully offering you a unique perspective on what mental and spiritual support can look like.
Okay, let's get into it then. One of the first things that really jumps out is this huge emphasis on preparation.
It really is striking. It's not just about, turning up for the meeting. There's a very conscious effort needed beforehand.
The source actually breaks it down into 4 key areas. The first one is about the mental attitude, what they call the awakening.
Yeah, it starts right from the beginning of the day. Thinking elevated thoughts, having pure intentions, being careful with your words.
And actively working on patience and serenity.
Exactly. The idea is to create the right kind of mental atmosphere, a suitable environment within yourself, really, before you try to help these distressed spirits.
It makes you think, doesn't it? About how much our own internal state impacts our ability to support others, especially those going through a tough time.
It really does. Creating that positive inner space first.
Okay, so after the mental prep, there's nutrition.
Eating lightly before meetings.
To avoid feeling sluggish, right? Keep the mind clear.
Yeah, and they even get specifics suggesting cutting back or avoiding things like alcohol, tobacco, even meat, coffee, strong spices on meeting days.
That's quite detailed. It suggests a real belief in the body-mind connection.
Absolutely. It's like a heavy meal takes energy to digest, energy that could be used for mental focus, for the spiritual assistance work. It's holistic.
Almost like an early nod to things we talk about now, like the gut-brain axis.
Kind of, yeah. That our physical state directly impacts mental clarity. A principle you could apply anywhere, really.
Okay, third area, physical and mental rest.
Crucial. Getting enough sleep, relaxation, but also actively focusing the mind on uplifting things.
And avoiding negative thoughts, worries.
Right. And they mention creating a respectable private environment, which is interesting.
What do you think that implies? A tidy house? Or something more?
I think it's maybe more about the energy of your personal space. Cultivating a calm, positive atmosphere at home could actually, support the spiritual helpers they talk about.
So the environment itself plays a role.
That seems to be the idea, that our personal space can help or hinder this kind of work.
And the fourth element of preparation.
Prayer and meditation.
Taking time before the meeting to connect.
Yes, connect with higher consciousness. Cultivate compassion. Explicitly. Compassion and respect for the spirits they'll be helping, and align with benevolent energies.
That really emphasizes the intention behind it all.
It does. It's about getting into that right mindset, aligning with a sense of purpose, and developing that empathy needed to genuinely help. They see it as vital for working with the disincarnate benefactors.
So putting all four together, mental attitude, nutrition, rest, prayer, the big theme is just intentionality.
Exactly. Very deliberate preparation on multiple levels.
It's not passive at all. It suggests the effectiveness of the whole thing is tied to the state of the people involved.
That's a key takeaway, I think. A very mindful approach.
Okay, but life happens, right? Things get in the way. The source actually addresses obstacles to attending these meetings.
Yeah, and it's very practical about it. Starting with something simple like the weather, rain.
What's the advice there? Stay home.
Nope. Just be prepared. Keep your commitment. Have your raincoat, your umbrella. Don't let a bit of rain stop you.
Simple enough. What about, say, unexpected visitors showing up right when you need to leave?
The advice is tact. Explain, honestly, humbly, why you have to go, but without being rude.
So balancing commitments, but prioritizing this work.
Seems like it. Handling it with consideration, but sticking to your responsibility. Honesty is key, they say.
And other unexpected things, like your kids suddenly need something, or you can't find your keys.
Deal with it quickly, then refocus on the meeting commitment. Interestingly, it even says family parties aren't really a valid excuse to miss a meeting.
Wow, that's a strong level of commitment expected.
It really underlines the perceived importance of this service. Solve the minor issue, don't let it derail you.
What about bigger things, like travel or getting sick?
Communication is key there. Let the group leader know. Keep the team harmony. It also mentions things like pregnancy or regular difficulties women face as understandable reasons for absence.
So there's understanding flexibility, too.
Definitely. It's about balancing that dedication with real life, using communication and understanding within the group.
Okay, let's shift to the actual place where this happens. The source strongly prefers these meetings happen in a specific location.
Yes, a Spiritist temple, whenever possible. And they use a really helpful analogy.
Which is?
Home care versus a hospital.
Oh, okay.
Just like a hospital has specialized equipment and resources for physical healing, they suggest the temple has access to more, let's say, specialized spiritual resources for disobsession.
More support available there.
That's the idea. A dedicated space enhances the work.
And it also warns against mixing this work with other mediumistic activities right before or after.
Yeah, that suggests this requires a very specific, focused kind of energy. Mixing things up might dilute it or interfere. Keep the energetic field clear for this specific purpose.
Makes sense. Okay, the meeting room itself. The source gets quite specific here too, doesn't it?
Very specific. Simplicity and cleanliness are paramount.
Like a plain table.
Plain table. Only the essential books, the Spirit's book, the Gospel according to Spiritism, a Kardecist commentary, exactly the number of chairs needed, no extra stuff.
No decorations, no cloths, no water glasses.
Nope. Very minimalist. Stripped down to the essentials.
They do mention a separate spot for occasional visitors, though.
Yeah, maybe a bench or a couple of chairs off to the side. And practical things, too, like a visible clock.
For punctuality, presumably.
Exactly. And careful placement of recording gear if they use it so it doesn't get in the way.
It all paints a picture of a very focused, uncluttered space.
Free from distractions. Grounded in the core texts. Structured.
Now, conduct within the meeting. How should people arrive?
With respectful silence and an attitude of compassion. They compare it again, this time to entering a hospital ward.
That sets a tone immediately. Reverence. Care.
Definitely. Avoid loud noises, frivolous behavior. It's serious work.
Even the chat before the meeting starts is guided.
Yeah. Avoid gossip or negative talk. Focus on positive, edifying discussion. Build that constructive atmosphere right from the start.
It's about cultivating a shared positive mindset.
Helping create that harmonious environment needed for the work.
And the leader, the dirigente, what's expected of them?
A lot. Guidance, discernment, kindness, energy, but also authority based on their example.
Leading by doing.
Exactly. And dedication to study, to prayer, treating everyone fairly. They might have assistants too.
It sounds like a demanding role, like a wise head of household.
That's a good way to put it. Providing direction and support.
Punctuality is mentioned again, and it sounds really important.
Extremely. The text emphasizes that spiritual helpers are dedicating their time, so being late disrupts things.
They even say close the door 15 minutes after the start time.
Yeah, to allow the preparatory reading to happen uninterrupted. It shows deep respect for everyone involved, seen and unseen.
Even the furniture gets a mention.
Simple, sturdy, wooden. Nothing ritualistic, nothing too comfy that might encourage dozing off.
Practicality again. And extra benches.
2 extra, maybe for visitors or for helping with magnetic passes later. Just flexibility.
And lighting. That changes during the session.
It does. Normal light for prep, then dim down to just 1 or 2 low wattage bulbs, preferably red, before the main work starts with prayer.
Why the change? Why red?
It signals a shift in focus. The low red light is thought to be more conducive to spiritual interaction, reduces distractions, maybe enhances sensitivity for the mediums.
Okay. And this idea of hospital-like isolation comes up again.
Yes, strongly discouraging casual observers, curiosity seekers, creating that protected, supportive space like a hospital ward just for spiritual and mental healing.
So maintaining focus is critical.
Absolutely. It's serious, sensitive work.
Use of electrical gadgets is minimal too,
Very limited. Emergency flashlight, maybe a voice recorder.
but only if it's genuinely useful for studying constructive messages later.
Right. Minimize tech distractions. Keep the focus human and spiritual.
The number of people is capped.
At 14 participants, maximum. With specific roles.
What are the roles?
Clarifying mediums, passing mediums, and psychophonic mediums. And everyone needs to maintain a high vibratory level.
Meaning positive, focused energy.
That's the idea. And staying awake and alert is crucial. No nodding off.
Visitors are generally discouraged then.
Very restricted. Rare occasions, only for constructive observation and only after consulting the spiritual mentors. Limited to just a few visits ever.
It's all about protecting that environment.
Exactly. And keeping the focus on the disobsession work itself.
What about absences, if someone can't make it?
Let the leader know in advance, if possible. But the meeting can still go ahead with fewer people.
And if someone just shows up needing help, a walk-in.
There are guidelines. Briefly help them with passes, guide them to other resources. Unless it's a clear case of obsession, then they might accommodate them at the back.
So there's structure, but also some compassion for immediate needs.
A balance, yes. Organized, but responsive.
Let's dig into those medium roles a bit more. The clarifying mediums, medians esclarecedores, they sound absolutely key.
They really are. Their role is quite diverse. They're meant to get intuitive suggestions from the guiding spirits.
So they're receiving guidance.
Yes, but they also need to intervene physically with the medium in trance, but only as absolutely necessary.
Okay, so a protective role too.
And they need some understanding of potential psychiatric issues, use psychological tact when talking to the manifesting spirits, and make sure no kids are present.
Wow, that's a lot. They're not just channels.
Not at all. They're active guides, problem solvers, discerning what's happening, linking the spiritual and physical aspects. Wisdom and compassion are vital.
Okay, then the psychophonic mediums, the ones who lend their bodies for communication.
Right. And for them, the source stresses things like positive faith, constructive passivity, meaning being receptive but not just vacant.
Self-criticism, being open to feedback.
Yes, really important. Committing to one group, maintaining self-control over the communications.
So they don't just let anything come through unchecked.
Exactly, and constantly working on their own personal and spiritual growth. The quality of the channel depends a lot on the medium's own state.
They're also warned against flattery and told to discern the quality of the spirits.
Stay humble, focus on service, not ego, and develop that ability to sense the nature of the spirit communicating.
Even their clothes matter. Comfortable, nothing restrictive.
Yeah, likely to help the energy flow, keep them grounded and receptive. Small details, but they add up.
And the third role, passing mediums. Medians specistas.
Their job is providing magnetic passes that energy transfer when needed during the meeting.
So like energetic support on demand.
Pretty much. They need to be diligent, devoted, vigilant, spontaneous, offering help as the situation requires.
And clarifying mediums can also do passes.
Yes, but psychophonic mediums generally don't, not in the same meeting. It keeps the roles distinct, probably helps maintain energetic balance.
Okay, so we have the people, the place, the prep. What actually happens during a meeting? What's the flow?
It's very structured. It starts with that preparatory reading we mentioned.
Right. Gospel, spirits book, commentary, max 15 minutes.
And the goal is that unified vibratory state. No discussion of the readings at this point.
Then the initial prayer.
Concise, leader's own words preferably, max 2 minutes. There's that sense of urgency, spirits waiting for help.
Next up.
The initial message from the group's spiritual mentor.
Coming through a psychophonic medium.
Yes. Giving doctrinal guidance, addressing group concerns, ensuring harmony, setting the tone.
Essential guidance for the session.
Exactly. Then the leader might consult the mentor directly.
Ask specific questions, like about visitors or a tricky case.
Yeah, getting tailored advice for that specific meeting's needs. Spiritual insight.
And then the main event, the spirit manifestations.
Yes, the spirit patience. This part lasts maybe an hour to an hour and a half. trying to keep the whole meeting under 2 hours total.
And the key attitude here.
Treat each spirit like a loved one, with deep respect. Use words as medicine and balm. It's therapeutic.
And the clarifying mediums are very active during this phase.
Very. Figuring out the spirit's gender, dealing with any mediumistic interference like animism.
Where the medium's own thoughts mix in.
Right. Handling that patiently. Avoiding arguments with the spirit, sometimes even just agreeing with them if they're very distressed.
And using constructive hypnosis if needed.
Yes, as a tool to help guide the spirit constructively. They're skilled facilitators.
There's also care taken for the mediums themselves.
Definitely. Don't push the psychophonic mediums too hard. Let them express within limits. Remember, they have lives outside this.
Avoid burnout.
Essential for the long haul.
The source mentions some mediums might attract specific types of spirits.
Yeah, like a natural resonance based on the medium's own experiences or tendencies. Can be a strength, but needs awareness.
And the range of spirits encountered is huge.
Very diverse. First-timers, repeaters, past life connections, recently deceased and confused, suicides, even perpetrators of violence.
So the approach has to be individualized.
Absolutely critical.
Yes.
Non-judgmental compassion, understanding each spirit's unique story.
The actual talking to the spirit part is called clarification, or esclarecimiento.
Right. The leader or an assistant speaks clearly, logically, patiently. No disdain. Keep it brief, maybe 10 minutes.
Benevolent hypnosis might be used here too.
Yes, if the spirit is resistant, to help them understand and heal.
And everyone else in the room contributes how?
Through mental cooperation. Unified positive thoughts supporting the spirit and the clarification process. It's seen as amplifying the effort.
They discourage clarifying too many spirits at once.
Yeah, usually no more than 2 simultaneously. To keep order. Psychophonic mediums need self-control here.
And each medium usually only allows manifestation twice per meeting.
Generally, yes. Again, structure, avoiding overload. The medium is an active participant with responsibility.
What if a spirit is particularly difficult?
The spiritual mentor might intervene directly through a medium, offering higher guidance.
An extra layer of support. The source keeps using analogies, like mediums as nurses to patients.
Yes, guiding, sometimes gently containing turbulent spirits, providing support if a medium feels unwell during the session unless they really need to go home.
An ongoing mediumistic education is stressed.
Constantly. Controlling expressions, respecting the sacred space, avoiding uncontrolled movements or aggression, discipline and respect are key.
What if another spirit tries to interfere while one is being clarified?
A designated assistant steps in quickly to manage it, minimize disruption.
Okay, so the manifestations end, but the meeting isn't over yet.
No, there are important post-meeting steps. First is radiations.
Which involves?
Silent prayer, positive visualization, 2 to 4 minutes. Creating beneficial energy currents for everyone involved. Might be followed by a spoken prayer.
Then the passes.
Yes, the passing mediums give magnetic passes to all attendees. It's routine, helps replenish energy after the work.
An energetic recharge?
Pretty much.
What about unexpected stuff after the main work, like the lights going out?
Ignore external distractions if possible. Address internal issues, power outage. Someone feeling ill calmly. The leader takes charge. Steadiness is important.
Then there's a final check-in with the mentor.
Yes, the leader confirms everything's covered. The mentor might give a final message for the group to study and meditate on.
And that gets recorded if possible.
Yes. If no message, the leader goes straight to the final prayer.
This final message sounds important.
It often offers key insights for the group's learning. Listening respectfully, focusing on the meaning, is emphasized.
Then a final prayer, simple and concise, led by the leader.
Right. Followed by a brief closing statement from the leader, then lights up, and the meeting might end before the 2 hours, if the work is done.
Orderly conclusion.
Very much so.
What about conversation after the meeting? Are there guidelines?
Yes. Keep it positive, uplifting. Avoid criticism or negative comments about what happened. Spiritual growth takes time.
And those recorded messages.
Re-listen for deeper understanding, but don't just share them widely without careful thought and filtering.
Okay. And there's something called constructive study of passivity.
Yeah, analyzing the communications that came through, looking for ways mediums can improve, done respectfully, feedback given privately.
Continuous learning again?
Always. And when leaving, maintain that same discretion as arriving, quietly, respectfully. Be mindful spirits might still be around.
What about talking about the meeting at home?
Avoid negative or sensational chat. It could attract negativity, even upset the spirits who were helped. Constructive discussion among the team is okay.
And regular attendance, assiduidad, is vital.
Crucial for the group's effectiveness. Missing 3 meetings in a row without justification could mean being replaced.
That shows the level of commitment required.
It really does. It's seen as a serious service.
So, after going through all this intricate detail, what are the main benefits? Why do this work?
Well, crucially, the benefits aren't just for the disincarnate spirits.
They help the living participants too.
Profoundly. Their daily lives, their interactions, even their home environments can improve. The work might seem monotonous sometimes, but the real benefits are often unseen, not easily measured.
How does it help the living?
It can help resolve old conflicts, maybe even from past lives, counteract negative influences, leading to more mental clarity, resilience, better relationships.
It even mentions phantom illnesses potentially disappearing.
Yes, and gaining broader understanding, more moral strength. It's potentially transformative for everyone involved.
And this isn't a static practice? The source talks about continuous growth and learning for the group itself.
Absolutely. Regular meetings just for the clarifying mediums, separate study meetings for everyone focusing on Spiritist texts like the Medium's book.
Special meetings guided by the mentor, too.
Yes. And practical outreach, like visiting the sick at home or in hospitals.
But not doing mediumistic work during those visits.
Correct. Just offering comfort, support, respecting hospital rules, maybe noting names for later help. It's also a learning chance for the mediums.
And gospel at home is recommended.
Strongly. Regular family study of the gospel and doctrine for spiritual support.
Plus, helping the needy in the community.
Vital. Spirits observe actions. Compassion in action is key learning, and encourages members to study broadly inside and outside Spiritism to sharpen discernment.
It even outlines how to form new teams.
Yeah, gradually. Train new people in public meetings, help them form a new group once the original gets bigger than 14, always under the guidance of the mentor.
The goal is to spread the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Spread the healing and liberation. It's a dynamic, expanding process.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen how this practice of disobsession is built on, well, meticulous preparation.
Creating that supportive, structured environment.
Clear roles, a very specific flow to the meetings.
And this constant emphasis on learning, growth, and service.
And like we said, while the context is Spiritism, these core themes focusing on mental and spiritual well-being, acting intentionally, offering compassionate support, they really resonate more broadly, don't they?
They absolutely do. It leaves you thinking. Could these principles of creating harmony internally and externally hold lessons for how we navigate our own lives, our own mental landscapes?
Yeah, and maybe this specific look makes you wonder, how often do we stop to consider the unseen factors, the things that might be influencing our well-being or the well-being of people around us?
It definitely gives you a different lens.
So if any of this sparked your curiosity, we'd encourage you to maybe look more into Spiritism or just reflect on these ideas. This detailed, systematic approach offers a really unique perspective on mental and spiritual health.